Hey guys, Adam and Chris here. We're going to talk about the Leviathan campaign supplements, part 1, Shield of Baal. And as you can see, I guess the first thing we need to talk about here is this sold out very quickly.
Yeah, like get the email, log onto the website, and it's gone.
Apparently 15 seconds is the rumor. We were able to get copies because of our connections, but they did come in damaged. As you guys, I don't know if you guys can perceive that little damage. Yours got ripped up a little bit.
We wept.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Hey,
I still have them. You know, they're gonna get bent corners and all other stuff. But this is taking a page from the End of Times. Yeah, End of Times feel. I like the slipcase. One thing that they did not do like they did before is the last campaign supplement that came like this in a slipcase was one of the mini books, which I don't like the mini books. Not a fan of that.
Yeah, I want the hardcover.
I want the hard. I mean, they're hardcover, but they're small. It's ridiculous. It's like
I want the big nice
yeah.
one.
I mean, even the hardcover small codexes that came in the whole box set. I mean, if you're gonna do it right. I don't like that small. You know, stick with a size format. That's the other thing I hate is like CDs and DVDs. Like you get one DVD that's this big and one DVD box that's this big, and it's like choose a format and stick with it. I want to be able to put it on my shoulder.
I mean, I know, like me personally, I carry these around usually in like a laptop case backpack or something like that. So when I've got a stack of big books, they sit there. Yeah. When I get the smaller one in there, it's rattling around, it's knocking in stuff, getting dented, it's getting these little freaking holes in it.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks.
So now, how fast did this sell out though? 15 seconds.
10 to 15 seconds.
That's pretty crazy.
I know. I got the email.
Yeah.
Click the link, and I'm like, shit, it's already gone.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was waiting for that.
That does suck.
I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Well, except I did. Sorry.
We did get it. Yeah. So we're gonna go over. Real quick. We talked a little bit about it on the podcast, but anyway, handsome piece, handsome set. If you're a collector. If you're not a hardback collector, from what I understand, a softback version is coming.
It is.
Those are the rumors.
And that's actually going to be the new setup for all of this. We're going to be doing limited edition hardbacks. And then a month or two later, from what I've heard, they'll be re-releasing them in softcover, which is great because it gives the kind of collector crackheads like us the ability to have that nice fancy thing for a shelf. So probably 2015, we're looking at a softcover release of every codex, which will be awesome.
So, and by the time we get to 2016, it'll be a new version of the game.
Yeah. 8th edition. Come on,
all right.
Combat. Come back.
Anyway, one thing I did love about this is the quality of the books, guys. And very nice, heavy slipcase. If you're into that, I'll go ahead and set that up over here. Again, I really love these formats for the new book. There's a handsome piece. I don't mind that it's not a classic kind of novel, these novella type setups they have. They've done 2 or 3 of these with the prior campaign sets. With I guess Malediction was one, and Blood on the Mountain, and what was the Red Wog? The Red Wog one, Evil Sun Rising. Yeah. So I haven't read those, and now I don't have those. I'm actually I didn't jump on that early on because I didn't really know what it was, and now that I do, I kind of want to go back and get them. So I'm going to look on eBay for those. I want those.
I think they're still available.
They are. So anyway, quality of this is similar to what you guys have seen in the recent books. I mean, the spreads are awesome, the graphics are awesome, everything's in color, and this is just the fluff of the story. It tells a story. They're doing a phenomenal job, not only giving people points of references if they want to recreate these battles, but all the background information you need to know, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Ton of great art.
I didn't understand though how something could freeze in there's nothing colder than space. I guess absolute zero. But I guess this is like warp cold. Warp ice. Warp ice, I guess, makes you freeze even more.
Right here.
It's beautiful. Of course, we shouldn't show too much, or Games Workshop's going to be upset as long as you can't read the... Somebody got in trouble a little while ago. Yeah, somebody had to pull a video down. Yeah, I don't know. But great stuff. The things that I like, again, is you have some background on how they're building up some of these armies. So if you want to create that, you can. Just beautiful stuff. So giving a little bit of backstory to each of the units if you want do some personalization. I mean, a lot of people like to recreate battles, and if that's what you want to theme your army around. Yeah.
Got your
I got my great companies based off fluff and all that other stuff. So Again, well, Chris, do you want to give some synopsis? Now, this is not going to be a spoiler-free, guys. So if you don't want to know,
talk about it without spoilers.
Yeah, if you don't want to know, then we suggest you turn the video off after I talk about this, because we will jump back into there with some spoilers. So, in this, the rules book for the campaign, a little bit thinner. You know, the size of Escalation or some of the other thinner books. If you're a Tyranid player, this is a must-have.
Yeah. This is essentially half a codex right here.
Yeah, this is basically your supplements.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, it'll be interesting to see if they actually pull these formations out, because there's going to be more formations in the next volume.
I know.
Yeah. So
there's at least one, maybe even two in Deathstorm, which I think
is
supposed to pre-release today.
Yeah, there's got to be. Yeah.
What, like 1 o'clock?
We haven't seen it yet. Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. All right. So a couple things is we have city fight rules in here. They have Cities of Death. That Cities of Death is what City Fight turned into for those 3rd edition to 4th edition guys who know what I'm talking about. But it has some deployment zones for how many buildings you have, the functions of the buildings, first turn, who gets first turn. Now these are fights that you can do not just playing Tyranids. I think that they would apply to everything. There, of course, are different objectives. But, you know, reading through this, guys, you can definitely set these up to, you know, do other battles and wouldn't necessarily have to go with Tyranids. The Cities of Death has its own objective table. I really wish they made cards for that. I do like the cards. Yeah, maybe.
If someone will spend money,
they
will release it.
Just the photographs they put in here. So
they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
especially
fog machines. Must have some dry ice in there. I don't know if that's photoshopped.
One of them had set in one of these missions that's supposed to be literally directly in front of a tidal wave crashing down.
Nice.
I'm drawing a blank on the page.
We have some Echo of Wars. Also, there's flying aces in here. So if you just want to play a game with your flyers, so
we should do.
Yeah, Death from the Skies. Fighter Aces is the name. So some special additional rules, and also you can homebrew rules for other things. Very interesting, guys. Like I said before, it is going to be a must for a Tyranid player. But if you guys want to switch up your games and not do the same stuff over and over again, I think that it's going to be cool to do some city fights. Like when City Fight came out, or I guess Cities of Death or Death Cities or whatever the hell it's called nowadays. It was awesome. It was a huge, because I mean, we never had buildings like this in 40K before. Like most of your ruins were like very, very small, limited ruins. We didn't really have multi-level rules, so that was a huge change in the game.
Play on this
yeah, it was a huge change in the game. But getting into the formations in here, you basically have a whole different units. So you have, you know, fast attacks, elite choices, heavy support choices, more heavy support choices. And then you have your actual your technical formations.
And 6 formations, which is huge. I mean, that is a supplement.
It is, and some of these monsters are pretty awesome.
And also, just even the Hive Fleet detachment gives you up to 3 troops, or excuse me, 3 HQs, 9 troops.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got the 11th Capic Eagles, a formation of the Ordo Tempestus, coming into this planet, Vitria, which is basically a planet of glass shards. So pretty nasty stuff. And they basically receive warning that there is some sort of Xeno invasion occurring, and they basically haul ass there. The leader of this group of Scions is named Uther Arbaxis, however the hell you say that. He's kind of a badass. Definitely take no prisoners, take no shit, get the job done, kind of vicious dude that we've all come to know and love in the grimdark future of 40K.
That's right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The kind of boss that'll put a bullet in someone's head just to improve morale.
Yeah. The bees will continue until morale improves.
Exactly. Decimation, my dude. Decimation. So they basically show up on this planet and all bail out of their Valkyries and do all their cool super soldier nonsense and start fighting off what's basically a gene stealer cult. So that's pretty awesome. They've got some really cool writing and stuff. It's just a neat little short story, basically. And it ends with a lictor showing up and draining the mind of an astropath, which, as we all know, is not good. Anywho, so they walk in right after they've killed this entire Gene Stealer cult and the Broodlord, who is actually, I think, going to be a special character in Deathstorm, because you know how with Tyranids, just because you kill it.
About in there, like the process of the Gene Stealers enveloping humans?
Not even mentioned at all. Okay. But I'm sure that'll come up.
Well, like back in the day, the fluff used to be where somebody would start off. It would start off before there's different like
multi-generations.
Multi-generations to the pure Gene Stealer or Gene whatever Genestaller, Gene Stealer, whatever you call it.
Genestaller.
That's what somebody used to call him back
really?
then,
and it's that British accent, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's how it was.
Yeah, until you evolve into this guy.
Yeah. Nice sound effect.
Yeah,
people appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
So,
it's that extra effort.
Long and short of it, the Gene Stealers are the forward spies, right?
Yeah, exactly. The advanced kind of wave.
Start disruption of communications and
right. They infiltrate human society. They get these. Basically, they start up almost like a freaking Al Qaeda, Taliban type. I'm drawing a blank on that insurgency.
Guerrilla tactics.
Yeah, exactly. And they just basically hide out in human society, and then the Hive fleet shows up, and right as that happens, they bust out, and all of a sudden you're going to your grimdark grocery store going, oh my God!
That two-front war.
Exactly.
Nice.
So the Scions show up and kill them, and it's pretty awesome. They're depicted as being, not quite Space Marines, but damn close, fighting like shoulder to shoulder, just blasting stuff. It's pretty sweet. And then this Gene Stealer, or not Gene Stealer, Broodlord, Super Gene Stealer, shows up and almost rips the arm off of the Tempestor Prime, but he tricks it, and he swings his power mace, and it grabs him by the arm, and he stabs it in the face with a knife that he keeps hidden.
Nice.
It's like he sacrifices his own arm to lure this thing in and bring him close, and then he stabs it in the face. It's pretty badass. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, go ahead, rip my arm off. I don't even care. Boom. But then that happens, and they go into like the final chamber in this like warehouse, and it's like blood all over the walls and like all these weird writings, and they just walk in on this lictor like pulling its tendrils out of this guy's brain, and
because I think it's lictor's almost the brain bug from Starship Troopers.
Yeah, exactly. It shoves its tentacles like up your nose and into your mind, and like drains out all of your knowledge and stuff. So they really are their spies.
Yeah.
But so it basically just sets this like astropath down on the ground and then just up through the ceiling. And they luck out though, and one of the Valkyries like missiles it, and it comes dropping back in, and then he freaking power maces it right in the head.
Nice.
And they think basically everything's good, and then all of a sudden, nope. And again, you got some cool artwork here. You've got that big, I don't know if I'm in focus, the big Broodlord character. It's the Tempestor Prime there with this big power mace. And I don't think you can quite see it, but he's actually got that knife, and it's actually got him modeled where he's got his sleeve out of the coat, and the coat's just hanging limp, and he's got this knife just peeking out.
I have Tempestus Prime. Tempestus.
Yeah, you do. You've got that box down there. You need to put them together, man. They're badass.
Yeah,
and they've been showing up actually in a lot of stuff. They are.
You know what? To tell you the truth,
they're pretty cool, man.
They feel like a new army to me.
Yeah, and they've been around for a while, but they're really getting fleshed out now.
I mean, the Stormtrooper has been around for a while.
Yeah, well, you've got that set.
They're not calling them that anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's got some Nazi, undertones and stuff.
Or, also got some Star Wars stuff.
Well, yeah.
Disney's going for that, bud.
Yeah, exactly. So, GW, you thought your patent lawyers were good.
So we might have to make this a multi-part. But that's kind of like the first segment or the first chapter in the story.
And again, you've got some awesome art there. I don't know how much I'm allowed to show before they come after me.
Yeah,
they're probably already mad.
Take this video down.
This video sucks, and we don't like it. But next up, the Tyranids actually show up and invade the shield worlds of Baal that the system's called Cryptus. And so they show you right here that you've got Baal here. And the first system, Vitria, was where the Scions were first fighting the Tyranid, and then the Hive fleet's coming in here. So they move into Cryptus, which, as you can see on this map, it's one solar system away. Yeah. So just during the brief, intro to this campaign, it moves across 4 systems.
And Cryptus is the binary star system, right?
Yes, exactly. The Eyes of Cryptus. And yeah, so the whole region's called the Red Scar region, which is kind of cool. It's this big bloody swath. I guess it's supposed to be the remnants of like a supernova or something. You know, it sprayed that gas.
Yeah.
Kind of fluffy because, you know, blood angels, blood vampires, all that nonsense. And of course, their systems in the middle of this big bleeding scar.
Now, where's the quote about
that? And actually, I thought about it again, and I think I was wrong in that initial thing. I wanted it to be about the Void Dragon, and it could be, but after having now read this entire book, it's not. I wish it was. It's on this next page.
The Tyranids of the Dragon.
The Tyranids of the Dragon through the Void, which they missed a total opportunity because. But anyway, we're getting off track here.
Could be.
But so it then shows Cryptus system, and as we were briefly mentioning earlier, you know, it's got that binary star, the eyes of Cryptus, really cool artwork there. But then it actually goes into the system itself, and you've got all the various worlds, and there's a mission and fluff on each of these worlds, which I think is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But then you've also got this asteroid belt, and it actually, from my understanding reading it, it actually is this really bizarre thing where the warp leaks through in this band around the system, and it forms this spheroid around the system, and it actually, the ice is cold enough that anything that touches it is immediately frozen. Gotcha. So it talks about how, like the rogue traders and stuff, there's tunnels through this, and they'd have to launch their ship basically through these, like, eyes of needles,
now,
you know.
If they warp jump, they can warp jump in and out of the tunnel, right?
Initially, I thought that, but again, upon further reading, I got the impression that maybe not. It was a little, and I'm going to have to read through it again. It's actually...
And how does it talk about how, do the Tyranids have faster than light travel?
No.
They don't?
No, they don't.
Wow.
They just float. But that's the scary thing, is if you like jump back to this previous thing, and it mentions a little bit here, the Hive fleet is basically this endless thing. True. Like when they invade a planet, it's that the front touches it and it's just passing over it. It's not like that's the edge, or it is the edge, and it's not like it just ends. I mean, the Hive fleet is infinite behind it, basically.
It sucks all the life out of it.
Yeah.
There's different. Now, the cool things about the Tyranid fluff is there's different color schemes based off of what Hive they are.
Right, and they may or may not all be connected. They might not be.
Might be a different.
Because they fight. Yeah, they fight, actually.
Does it talk about that in there?
Not in this. It was in the... it's one of the Forge World books, I want to say, with the Eldar. And they actually, when the Hive fleets come into contact, they devour each other, and they become stronger, and they assimilate each other. Yeah. And the scary thing about that is, you know, if I come along and I eat all these races, and you come along and eat all these, and then we consume each other, we now have the knowledge of all of them. Yeah. So it's actually good to keep the Hive fleets from making contact. Initially, you'd be like, oh, that's great, they're going to fight each other. Problem is, the resulting swarm is even more powerful than two component pieces, so it sucks, you know. You just can't beat the Tyranids, man. Yeah. I mean, unless you're Necron, maybe.
Virus bomb.
Yeah, right. But, so next, it jumps into the defense of the system itself, and you've got some Imperial Guard regiments, the Cadians, of course, because who doesn't, you know, what mission doesn't have Cadians in it, you know?
The herpes of the 40K universe.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's also got some, what are they called? The Firstborn, the, I'm going to have to look in here, the Vostroyans, however the hell you say it. I should know. Yeah. I speak Russian. I should be able to pronounce it, but it's that fake Russian. Yeah. So here you've got that, warp ice surrounding it, and if you look closely, you know, you've got the Tyranid bioships. And actually, I didn't notice that. That's a big demonic skull right there out of blood. Yeah. That's pretty grim. Oh, shit. Actually, it's another one, like a flaming skull coming out of it. Pretty interesting. Well, they did say the ice is like demonic. Yeah. Like demons don't come out of the ice, but it's connected to the warp.
Tyrannids are fans of one another.
Yeah, well, they're, you know, one consumes the real world, the other is the warp. So they probably hate each other. But anyway, so the Hive fleet comes flying in through this ice shield, freezes solid, and the freaking Imperial Guard, you know, being the geniuses that they are, not to hate on you, you know, Joes that play Imperial Guard, but they're all like, woo! You know, we won. We didn't even have to shoot. We won. They're all frozen solid. And the Tyranid drift, you know, into the sun, warm up, and then invade from the center of the system where all the guns aren't. God. Yeah, oops.
So why would they just shoot them and just shatter them?
They start to, and they're frozen solid.
Oh, really?
And that's the one thing about a laser, is it's going to just heat up the spot it's hitting, and that's it. It's not going to shatter it. Huh. It's going to thaw it. So they're shooting them, and they're warming up, and then they're just like...
ballistics?
No, they don't really use it. I mean, it'd be great if you could use like a tractor beam and chuck an asteroid into it, but they don't think of it in time, and by the time it... Basically, the Tyranid fake them out, too, because they thaw, but they don't move. They just sit there until they drift in towards the ships, and then they tentacle out. Yeah. Like, they outsmart them, which...
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So they basically split up and they invade all the different planets. So you've got the Cadian regiments that came in to assist. Yeah. You've got the Vestroyan, the firstborn, whatever the heck their V something name is. You know, internet warriors come after me. Yeah. And then you've also got the Sisters of Battle. Yeah. They've been sent to one of these worlds in the system to basically convert the heretics. Yeah. Because the population in the system initially thought that the sons were gods and stuff, and that, you know, all this crazy nonsense. Yeah, exactly. The Emperor's the only god out there. Yep. Just because he doesn't believe it doesn't mean he's not wrong.
That's right.
But so they pop in, and then you've got, it's kind of neat because you basically got a different imperial faction on each of the planets. Nice. So it's kind of this multifaceted thing where it's the
you're having battles.
Right, exactly.
These battles in a different part of the system.
Right, exactly. Like, there aren't Sisters of Battle and Imperial Guard on the same planet. Yeah. So it's kind of neat in that you can fight it out and you don't need all the armies because they never encounter each other at all.
It's not like the same thing it was with the Red Walk.
Exactly, where you need all of them. You've got to have Cadians.
I haven't seen any. There's no night worlds in this, correct?
No.
Yeah, so
I don't think they're all.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess I'm kind of bummed out about that. I don't have any nights yet. That'll change in a month. Spoiler alert. Yeah. But I'm just happy the Sisters Battle are getting some love, man.
I wonder if they're going to come out with some plastic models for them, or even a codex.
They need to, man, because they're cool. They're showing them some love here. Yeah. Really, I've spoken to a lot of people. Granted, it's all out of the same group. You know, it's a lot of our buddies, people online. But I feel like the biggest barrier to entry for them, it's not like, oh man, I don't want to play girls in space. No, it's $80 holy crap, a tactical squad is $80 to $100. Yeah, it's stupid. And they're all more or less set post models. You don't get a lot of variety. You know, you field an army of 100 of these things, and 90 of them have the same freaking pose. Yeah. And you just drop 10 grand.
It's very 1992.
Yeah, right? Go figure. Yeah. It's almost like Mephisto and his mullet. Yeah. Power mullet, excuse me.
Space vampire mullet.
So speaking of the Sisters of Battle, the first fight on here is on the world of Scions, whatever. Yeah. But it's a planet that is basically filled with water. Got hit with that solar flare that we talked about earlier that turned the planet to glass. Yep. This one, it melted all the ice caps. Global warming, it's real in the grimdark future. Yeah. But then the proximity of the moon actually makes it so all that water drifts up to one side of the planet. And as the moon rotates, it sweeps this endless tidal wave. Nice. So they're constantly running from this tidal wave. It's pretty crazy. So
is there settlements on the planet?
Yeah, the planet was settled. I mean, you've got literally like ruins, and then just the water comes sweeping across, and these guys are just constantly running. Oh, they flee the planet, and as these buildings get ripped up by the tide, they just get catapulted in the front of this wave. So these guys are on like these crawler hulks, and just literally like this several mile high tsunami is throwing like buildings at them and stuff as they flee.
Why would you be on that planet? Mining or something? Or?
Because you're too poor to leave.
Oh, okay.
Because grimdark future, bro.
All right, so they're just constantly running away from the water.
Basically, yeah. And they're just like starving peasants, just constantly fleeing. And they're, so naturally, you know, starving peasants, they start to develop this religion that there's this, you know, angry water goddess, and that the moon is this god, and they're in some love affair and all that, blah, blah, blah. Naturally, heresy, Sisters Battle show up, convert or kill. You know, that's how we roll. So you've got a bunch of actually kind of neat Sisters of Battle characters. Canoness Grace is pretty badass. One of those, you know, does not tolerate any shit or any heresy. Yeah. So they show up, and basically are kind of, from my impression, getting a little fed up with the dumb peasants on this planet that refuse to accept the Emperor's, you know, hot love and a bolter fire. And so they're about to probably exterminate this planet. And then they go, oh, wait, shit, Tyranid. Maybe we'll try to save you. And
better save than give the enemy more ammo.
Exactly. And that's actually comes up in this too, that they're like, you know, every peasant we save is not some kind of giant, you know, monstrous creature coming at us later. Some cool art here that you can't see because GW will totally sue us. But Penitent engines, the Repentant, whatever they are, nasty, man. Like people with like freaking spikes driven through them and stuff, and like the Purity Seals hammered through them. They're a nasty army, man.
The sisters are nasty.
They roll deep. They roll real deep. But so basically, awesome new stuff with the Tyranid drop pods right here. That's how they're doing this invasion, is they're throwing down monsters, creatures, and so on.
In the fluff, is this a new creation?
It is a new creation. Basically, yeah, the Tyranid have now, because this is a different Hive fleet than we've encountered before,
they've evolved.
And centuries later, too, they've evolved, and now they've got these, what are they, Tyrannosis or whatever, and they come flinging down with the tentacles, and you can see them here, and there's the Seraphim, like, flying around, shooting them with the bolt pistols. Really cool. So they basically land and just overwhelm this planet, and the Sisters of Battle, and there you've got them there. There's Canoness Grace, kind of that main character, and then you've got the Martyred Lady, folks, and the Sacred Rose. I don't know much about the different chapters or whatever they're called, but pretty cool. I'd go with the red and black ones because Blood Angel colors. What's up? You'd probably do the Space Wolf Greys.
I actually like the white one.
Yeah, the Space Wolf Grey one. No, I know it's not. I'm just giving you crap. Pretty cool. I don't know why the back of her head's on fire, but apparently that's like...
That's her
the Emperor's Light.
To her armor.
Yeah, right.
The fusion generator.
Fusion generator.
Yeah, on the armor.
But that's a badass photo right there. Like and you've got the Holy Trinity, as they call it. Flame, Bolter, Melta. And I think there's a formation. Oh, it's in the new 6th edition codex. They've got a formation that's like called like the Holy Trinity or something, and it's like you've got to have bolters and flamers and meltas, and they can create like this like template weapon of just like fuck your face up stuff.
I like it already.
But yeah, so basically the Sisters of Battle get totally overwhelmed in this, and there's a mechanic over for that mission in the rules where every turn you roll a dice, and once it adds up to 12, you're out of ammo and you can only fire snapshots. Yeah. Which, 2 bad rolls and holy crap, you're hosed.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, could you imagine not being able to fire?
Well, I mean, when you play campaigns like this, that's why it's fun to like switch it up.
Yeah.
You know, so you and your buddy build this game, and then you can each of you take a turn playing the same campaign, go through the whole campaign, and add up who had what points for each game.
Exactly. You know? And I guess we're going to start trying to do that. I only have a month left to write that campaign. Yeah. But yeah. So this fight is primarily kind of swarm based. You've got the, what are they, Turvigons, or the big, we can't say what we call them in real life, but birthing all the gaunts and stuff. So that battle's primarily swarm focused. That changes as the campaign moves on onto different planets. But you can see here, there we go, that's what I was talking about earlier, the water, and you've got that blue light, and whoever took these photos, man, did a hell of a job. I mean, obviously you just take it with freaking blue light, but it still looks really badass.
So I guess we didn't check all of the rules. I didn't check all the different battles to see if there's a water effect.
Yeah, they have it basically where this wave moves, and everything, as it advances, everything behind it's gone.
That's
like,
cool.
Removed from play. Nice. Goodbye.
Nice.
So it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm just picturing that freaking James Bond movie or whatever. He's got the laser just moving forward its crotch, and he's like, no! That's kind of how this is, because you've just got this flat
Shave me money, punny.
part of the board, and it's just like, yeah, you can't have anything back here. Oh,
nice.
Oh, and it's gone. But great photos, whoever's at GW. While you're looking to tell us to take this off the air, talk to your boy that took these photos, because they're pretty good.
They did a good job.
They did a good job. That's awesome. There you've got the mucolid spores, the new ones that really look like cancerous nuts. Yeah. I'm sorry, they do. So, next world, Asphodex, which is a kind of weird name, but this is actually kind of the settled, more or less normal,
the Hive planet.
Normal world, and that's, typical corrupt imperial governor, because is there any other kind? No. So this is basically just a massive hive city, covers the whole planet, super corrupt. Your wolves are loose. So this battle is going to be between the Cadians and the Tyranid, and this is basically just kind of that typical, lots of Imperial Guard, lots of Tyranids smash into each other, and spoiler alert, the Imperial Guard lose. Go figure. Yeah. Got some cool rules on that.
So do you feel they've done enough damage to the Hive that they slow it down, the progress?
No.
Okay.
No, and they get to that in the end of the book. The Hive fleet has evolved to the point where this whole system was swept away, and the time period it normally takes them to, like,
probe a planet. Like
really?
they just steamroll this entire system. And they comment on that they're like, you know, we held out as long as we could and we were wiped away like, you know, faster than ever before. Like we did nothing. You know, we have failed our emperor.
It's going to be the sons of Sanguinius.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess I can say kind of at the end of the video that they actually have tied it pretty well and pretty fluffy to why they show up.
Yeah.
And in a typical grimdark Space Marine way, they're not there to help.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
They're there for their own reasons.
Yeah. So.
But I guess moving on again, you've got the Urban Elite Cadians fighting against them, so you've got some tank stuff. They don't really give you any formations or anything like that, but you've got some cool characters again. You've got General Drost, and I do believe I have actually seen a model for him. That the way they've got him done up here, it's just like you did with your Shield brother. You can actually build him to match that. You've got some Bulgren, which I've always loved those things, man. The big slab shields.
They look like more cooler. They look cooler in this
because initially
format than they do. Like the model looks kind of goof.
They look like the freaking thing from the Goonies.
Yeah, baby.
Like, yeah, and this, I mean, they're freaking gas masks. Yeah, what's the guy's name? Not Chunk, but
Chunk is a kid.
Yeah, the big
big
mutant thing from Goonies. Come on, man.
Sloth.
Yeah.
Sloth.
Yeah, so, but in this, I mean, they've got him with the big, like, tank tread belt.
Yeah, it's pretty
and,
awesome.
like, the bat and the gas mat. Like, they look scary.
Yeah.
Rather than being some big, dumb mutant, that looks like a dude that's at the end of an alley waiting to steal your lunch money and then kill you.
Saves the people behind them. So
yeah, exactly. Way cool. And then you've got the Engine Seer, which I actually think they're cooler than the Tech Priest, just from a design standpoint.
Yeah.
Because they've got that big axe and the flowing robe and stuff. Like, they look like something totally different. Whereas the Tech Marine's like, oh, it's Doc Ock. Doc Ock had sex with the Space Marine, and like, whoops. Ugh, that's a mental image I don't want.
You would like it.
It's good. So again, you know, they give you an army that you can replicate for each of these battles. So, you know, if I want to play this out, here's what I need for the Cadians, and here's what I need for Leviathan. You've got those big Tyranid drop pods that I really want to play against.
Yeah.
We got
I mean,
Alfred's talk to Alfred. So. Yep, he is. So again, you know, they land on this planet, and the IG strategy is initially just shoot down the flyers, let them land, get them trapped in the street, block the street with Bulgren, and then just hose them down with assault cannon fire and stuff. And what do you know? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, spoiler alert, they lose.
Yeah.
Basically, the Tyranid say, okay, that's fine, and they just start letting their flyers die and letting them die because, oh wait, they're endless, until eventually the street is so packed that the IG just can't shoot them fast enough, and they just run over them like a wave.
There's a couple of cool things in there for like the endless swarm. So
like, where they just keep coming back.
Once the squad is destroyed, it just comes in. It goes back to ongoing reserves, and you just roll forward to bring it back in the next turn.
And that's going to be interesting too, because those formations have that rule, which means it's just a normal game, and you've just got an endless supply of gaunts or gargoyles. I think are the one.
Be fun.
I'm looking forward to playing it, man. I got you. So again, we got some of these guys. There's that Lictor again showing up, and that's a great piece of art right there. Yeah. He looks scary as crap.
He does look scary.
But next we got the moon, Ixoi, however the hell you say it. Again, somebody on the internet tell me how to pronounce it. This is the moon of that other world.
Yeah, the world.
And this one is basically this industrial thing. These are where the Vestroyan Firstborn are. So this is an armored division fighting against Tyranid monstrous creatures.
So are these worlds like staging worlds for other campaigns?
I don't think so.
You just have a lot of mix in this system.
Right. Basically, they scrambled this emergency response fleet, and we're just like, you guys there, you guys there, you guys there.
Gotcha.
And the Tyranid are already like swooping it around, so they just real quick arrange themselves and get stomped.
Gotcha.
They line up and die.
Yeah.
So this one had some cool rules in that there's radiation and stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. Again, lots of cool art.
Just think, if the Emperor was allowed to finish conquering the galaxy and completing the webway, we just hid from the Tyranids in the webway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, oh, you're here? Poof.
Yeah, everybody disappears.
Yeah.
Stay in the webway. The swarm passes by.
Thanks, Magnus.
Yeah.
You dick.
Yeah, no, right?
Watch out! Webway gone.
He ruins everything.
Magnus sucks. Stupid Thousand Sons. So, again, awesome artwork. Next up, we got the world of Eros, and this is where those fighter aces rules come in. This is entirely a sky war.
Nice.
It's flying monstrous creatures and Tyranid spore mines, and Euclid spores against lots of Valkyries. Nice. And they've got really cool paint schemes for all of them. They're all Cadians.
Yeah.
But you've got all these cool different things. And just from a fluff perspective, you know, come on, in real world, like, dudes paint crap all over their spaceships, you know, or cool, planes. So, real neat stuff. Again, you've got, you know, characters that you can make. This is Heinrich, I guess, Jenst, I would assume, because that's a J and it's Germanic. Plasma guys, grenadiers, looking pretty badass. That guy should be holding that plasma gun like away from his face though, because that might get hot on him. Whoa!
Plasma, totally worth it.
Yeah, right. You've got the Sky Tide, and these things just, I mean, they look friggin' terrifying.
You know what's kind of crazy? Some of this artwork, you never really think about these things just flying around and just billowing of smoke. It reminds me of the World Eater in the Man of Steel movie. They just billowing the smoke.
Yeah, but they do. They just pour smoke out, and
makes them even more terrifying.
They look freaking nasty too, man. I mean, look at the eyes and the teeth, and I mean, little freaking gargoyle. You know, it's like a throwaway unit, and I'm like, oh my god!
It's like the whole organism, because once these things are done serving their purpose,
they just
die.
Drain them away. Yeah. But they can reconstitute the same one back, because it talks in here that Lictor, it gets killed and drained, and then they rebuild it on different planets in this world. Like Grace kills it a couple different times, and the Hive will just puke it back out again. Same one, just to fuck with her head, basically.
Yeah. Nice.
Is it smart? So you've got this awesome aerial campaign. There's cool rules for this, and that the only ground you can take is like a Sky Shield Nexus.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's like these floating platforms up off the planet, and you know, they land on them and they're flying around these mists, and that's it.
That's pretty cool.
So you can only take like jump infantry and stuff.
Space fat mat, the battle mat.
Yeah, man.
That'd be pretty awesome.
It's cool because you can also play X-Wing on it.
There you go.
All right. So again, really cool stuff there. Then Tartaros. Oh, excuse me. This is the one with the radiation and everything. This is the real monstrous creature heavy battle. Yeah. And it talks about, there's this commissar character, and I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but basically they hole up in these buildings behind these void shields, and they're just shooting, and they're, you know, killing the monstrous creatures, and they're holed up, and then all of a sudden it goes quiet, and they're like, what the fuck? And they realize that they pulled back and funneled all together, and they go around and they knock out the power to these void shields, and it's a radioactive world. So what happens? They hit it, and then they back up, and they let the IG like barbecue in the radioactive sun, and it's literally talking about this guy's like scratching his head, and his freaking head just peels open and stuff. And then they wait until basically
RoboCop, help me.
Yeah, but it basically talks about how like all these IG guys are like laying there on the ground, like their skin peeling off, and then they come back and eat them.
Nice.
Yeah, so again,
I prefer my IG well done.
Yeah, there you go. You've got, and it shows them, I mean, there's guys that are like on fire, like their skin peeling off and stuff, and this guy, like, you can kind of see his face is like flapping a little bit and stuff. But again, like, everyone thinks about the Tyranid as like these mindless, like, insects, and they're not. Yeah. They're smarter than anyone else, man. They're like, oh, that's cool. We're going to let you die in the sun, and then we're going to come and eat your corpses because we're better than you. So, as you can tell, none of these battles end well for the humans. Like, I'm reading through this, and I'm like, we're going to win, right? Like,
I mean, so does anybody get away?
No.
Nice.
Nobody lives. Yeah. Nobody lives. So then you've got another battle on that big Hive world, and this is talking about how the Imperial Guard's kind of held out. They're hosed, but they've held out. And you've got this, the planetary governor, total scumbag crime boss type, and finally he comes running out of his underground lair, like Saddam Hussein Spiderhole style. And he's like, oh, it's cool. You know, let's be allies. I'll help out. Here's a bunch of psychers. Yeah. And for a while, things are going well. They're blasting away the gaunts and stuff. And then all of a sudden, you know, they just start to get overwhelmed as these guys come up out of the sewers. Just millions and millions of gaunts come up out of the sewers. And all of a sudden, our pals from the first mission, the Capic Eagle, show up, and they've actually run through that shield, basically threaded the needle, and they've gone through those holes in reality that the rogue traders used to use, and they just full throttle dive into this, and I guess lucked out, and they made it through. They didn't have to go around or whatever, and they show up just in time, land. Things sound pretty awesome for a while. And then the Tyranid Psychers show up. Those all those new psychic units, which pretty nasty, but basically everyone dies. They talks about the Scions and stuff are like holding out. You know, they're doing that stuff where they're fighting like back to back with their las guns and everything. and all of a sudden it talks about the big brain bugs to show up, and it describes them most as having big tendrils of smoke that just come out of their brains, and they just reach out and like touch you, and your head just pops like in Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
But it's talking about literally like the Scions are just popping, and the waves of them, like it's moving back in this like just red tide. Like the front guy pops, and the next guy pops, and the next guy pops, and finally they're like, oh shit, and they're like hiding behind cover. It's talking about the tendrils just like curve around and it'll reach over and just flick the guy in the head. And it talks about how he like feels his brain boil, and then he just goes. But so every single one of them dies. It sucks. Even the characters. I mean, just barbecuing these guys. This guy's face is peeling away and stuff. Yeah, it's just not. There we go. You can kind of see the smoky tendrils there, just coming out. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
A cool way of depicting it.
Yeah.
But they're literally like black, oily, smoky tentacles, and they just pierce your brain, and you just explode.
It's pretty awesome.
But
so you think the Sons of I can't say his name anymore.
Some Scions of Sanguinius,
yes,
as I like to call them. Yeah, they got a shot, but so here we go. I mean, you see the tanks just getting steamrolled, and there's that freaking Lictor.
Yeah, he looks pretty.
He looks pretty dope, and he's been killed a couple times. But basically, you see, the final battle takes place in that ocean world again, and you see, it's just water, and so basically, the Sisters of Battle finally convince the population that they're there to help. Okay, fine, we're not going to execute you all for being traitors. And finally they go to evacuate, and right then the Tyranids show up, and they're like, oh wait, we're going to help you out now. And they're like, no, evacuate. And they're like, no, we want to help you. Like, we want to join the Imperial cause. So after all this time of trying to evacuate them, half of them turn around and go to fight, and they all die. As this wave comes crashing over. Because initially they're trying to trap the Tyranid. The sisters were going to sacrifice themselves, get all the Tyranid to come and fight them, and then the wave was going to come and just smack them and kill the whole Hive fleet as the civilians escaped, and then they all turn around and they die too. But the final scene is pretty awesome. You've got Canoness Grace like riding this rhino into the back of a Valkyrie, like straight out of a movie, like, full throttle, jump it, into the thing, and the gate's coming up, and the Lictor comes crawling up out of the landing gear that she's already killed.
Nice.
And it talks about how she like leaps out of this rhino and lands, and click, 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 click. And it just talks about the tentacles like shoving into her face. Then it just cuts her head off. And she finally finds the redemption she wanted.
Does the Valkyrie get away?
Well, no, there's a Lictor inside.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just like the ending of, what is it, Aliens or whatever, where like Ripley gets away, and then you just see like the tentacle come around the door, and you're like, ah, damn it.
It happens. All right, man. Well, awesome stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Guys, check it out. Of course, the digital format is available, and hope you guys like that.
Softcover will be coming out in a couple months, too. So
softcover will be coming out soon. And for those of you guys who are too lazy to read it, thanks for the synopsis, Chris, and if not, hopefully...
audiobook format, right? For those of us that listen to 40K audiobooks in the car when they commute.
There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time, and hopefully we'll have a review of the Deathstorm coming up this week.
Deathstorm, and then whatever the hell the final one is. Exterminatus or something.
That'd be cool. All right, guys, take care. Bye.